Hey guys, welcome back or welcome to Ravenclaw Reads. I'm Courtney and today you are watching my January wrap up. So this month was a bit of a struggle. If you've been following me, you know that January was really hard to sort of kickstart my reading for the year. Last year I read a ton and I think I kind of burnt myself out, and it didn't take until maybe the end of January for me to get into sort of a rhythm of the books that I was reading. So it started off slow, but it's picked up. I ended up reading 14 books this month, and that's way more than I thought that I was going to read. So I'm going to share with you the books, the ratings, and like if I recommend them. I do these every month. I don't do a TBR video because I am very much a mood reader, and I've tried to do TBR videos in the past and I always veer away from those, so I'm not going to set myself up like that. But I do have a TBR prompt spinner, so as the year gets going, if I get stuck on what books I want to read, I might pull that out again. So if you are new to my channel, thanks so much for watching. Please check out my other content to see if this is a channel that you'd like to watch on a regular basis, and don't forget to subscribe. And if you are new or returning, don't forget to comment. I love to respond to comments. So let's go ahead and get started. So something I started this year was a book journal. And I had seen a lot of different variations online. I don't consider myself very crafty or artsy, but I wanted a way to track my reading more than just digitally. So currently, I track my books digitally. I have a digital planner. I can't remember whose planner it is, but I believe I got it from Etsy. And I just put the covers of the books, screenshot from Goodreads, and then add the rating. But this year I decided to pick up a little journal. The sticker on the front says "So Booked," which I think is so cute. And I am tracking the books that I read. So what I do is I have a little printer and that prints out the Polaroids of the cover, and then I write some highlights about the book and a little blurb about the book in my own words. And I love that because last year when I was doing wrap-ups, it was kind of hard to remember everything that I had read for that month or why I liked it. This is going to help me remember and stay on track. The only problem I found is that I ran out of paper. So I need to get more paper for the printer. And so I stopped at book 8 for this month, but I will catch up when I order more from Amazon. So let's get started with my wrap-up. All right, so the first book that I read this year in January was Didn't See That Coming by Jessie Q. Sutanto. This is a YA book. Some of the key elements of this book: it's a BIPOC representation, it's a friends to dating, it's gamers, social justice issues, and there is a bully trope in this book. I gave this book 4 stars, and basically this book follows 2 gamers who meet online. Our main character girl, maybe I should write the names of the people in my journal, so I never remember the names. If you know my channel, I never remember the character names. But the girl in this book is a gamer, but she poses as a boy online so she can get more credibility in her gameplay, and she befriends somebody else within this gamer world, and they've been talking and chatting, and they find out that they end up she transfers schools and she ends up going to his school, but they don't know that they go to each other's school till later on. So there's lots of different elements in there, but one of the things I really liked about this book is that it wasn't just a plain dating book or YA romance. There's really a social justice element, as the girl in the book was often discriminated against because of her gender. The principal at the private school they go to is very dismissive of girls and women, and so I like that they brought that into the conversation. The next book that I read painstakingly was Not the Witch You Wed by April Asher. I really wanted to read a book that was fun romance after Didn't See That Coming. Not that Didn't See That Coming wasn't a fun romance, but that's the vibe I needed. And this was when I was doing my TBR prompts, and I think it said something about somebody magical is one of the people in the book. Anyway, this book I gave 2 stars, and some of the key elements is it's fake dating, second chance romance, a witchy romance, wolf shifter, surprise magic, and enemies to lovers. In this book, I wrote a little summary. Handsome wolf shifter Lincoln gets a second chance with a non-witch Violet when both must marry ASAP, and that's pretty much the whole premise. I don't know what it is about wolf shifter books lately, but this is like the third one I've encountered, and I'm good. I do not need any more wolf shifter books. It's not my thing, no judgment. I just don't find it to be my kind of niche. And the fact that everybody knows about wolf shifting in books and all of the things that happen with wolf shifters, I don't know where I've been, but yeah, not my thing. This is also, I think, the second book of April Asher's I've tried to get into, and I found that I just don't care for her writing. And so I will not be picking up any more April Asher books. The next book I read was Mallory and the Mystery Diary. This is book number 29 in the Babysitter's Club series. If you are new to my channel, I am rereading the Babysitter's Club from the beginning. I loved this book as a child. It's got a resurgence of popularity, but I'm reading it from the beginning. I started last July with number 1. Obviously, I've read the series, and then I kind of cherry-picked books that I wanted to read as an adult, and now I'm just going from front to end in publication order, not including the mysteries, but I am including the super specials. So Mallory and the Mystery Diary, I found it hard to do like a spread for the Babysitter's Club books, so this is what I did. I just kind of wrote to the character. So Mallory, we know she's practical, level-headed, a writer, and kind of klutzy. And in this story, Mallory finds a mystery diary in Stacy's new house, and it's got like an historical edge story to it. It is kind of a mystery, almost more of a mystery than the actual mysteries have been, but it wasn't my favorite, and I gave it a 3. And for Babysitter's Club books or any books that I reread, like from my childhood, the lowest I'll give them is a 3, because obviously I'm rereading them and they made an impact on me, but it wasn't the best. The next book I read was Artifacts of an Ex. I heard about this book on maybe somebody's channel, or maybe it was a flat lay on Instagram, but I ended up giving this book 4 stars. And this, some of the elements are BIPOC representation, New York to LA, slow burn, artsy, body positivity. And the summary I put for this is Chloe gets dumped by her boyfriend in New York, moves to LA, and opens an exhibit for scorned exes. Chloe meets Daniel, who doesn't want to be a rebound, but Chloe and Daniel are destined to be together. So this artsy book follows Chloe and as she creates an exhibit around like breakup boxes. So people who have collected artifacts from their relationships, and now they're collecting them all because they've broken up with the person, and she's kind of displaying them. This is a YA novel, and I really didn't get that until a little ways into the book, because like, how is she starting an art exhibit? Like, all of the travel, there's like a lot of elements that leave some holes, but she is in fact a teen. I believe she's 16. Very cute book. Again, I give it 4 stars. After that, I moved to super special number 3 from Babysitter's Club. This one is Babysitter's Winter Vacation, and this I gave 4 stars. Some of the call outs are it's a school trip, all BSC tropes are in place, it's set in Vermont, and the babysitting doesn't stop, which it was insanity. So it says the BSC, this is what I wrote, the BSC head to Vermont on a week-long trip. Bad weather leaves exactly 14 younger kids stranded. Instead of adults taking care of the kids, the BSC is to the rescue. Christy does too much. Everyone else brings their normal charm. So I think this book was very far-fetched, but the thing about the super specials is we're getting everybody's point of view. But yeah, a lot of babysitting happened, a lot of responsibility placed on the teen girls and none of the adults. And yes, Christy, as always, does too much. She's not my favorite, but she had lots of bossy tendencies in this book, and I guess that's why we all love her. All right, next I read Booked on a Feeling. And this book, where did I get this? Was it on Kindle Unlimited, or maybe, I don't remember, but I ended up giving this 3 stars. Some of the call outs for this book is it's going back to hometown, finding yourself, basic rom-com, friends to lovers, and mental health is represented in this book. I actually love the trope of, I I've mostly only read it from the woman's point of view, where the woman goes back to their hometown and tries to sort of reset their life and falls in love with somebody they knew in high school. I just love that trope for some reason. But I put here, big time lawyer has a breakdown and goes to a small town, reconnects with a longtime friend, and falls in love with the bookstore backdrop. So this book is exactly that. It's so cute and simple. It is longtime friends to lovers. The big time lawyer, she ends up having a panic attack while she's trying to present a case, takes a break in this small town. She's living above a bookstore that is going to be sold, and she starts falling in love with the bookstore as well. And so it's just really a wholesome read. Next, I read Marianne and the Great Romance. This is book number 30. I ended up giving this 3 stars. Some of the callouts is that it's sister. This is where Marianne and Dawn's parents start dating. Fast-paced love, too much babysitting. And I know it's funny, but many of us that read Babysitter's Club, it's like there's an A plot and a B plot, and sometimes the babysitting gets in the way of the A plot, and this is one of those books. But in this book, Marianne and Dawn become sisters in the fastest courtship, engagement, and wedding. So this book is 104 pages, and within those pages, we get Dawn's mom and Marianne's dad dating, getting engaged, and the wedding, and the girls are coming to terms with possibly blending their families. It just was so fast to me, it didn't make any sense. But I read book number 31, which I'll talk about later, so it all kind of coincides, but not my favorite. It was kind of boring. And then I read Part of Your World by Abby Jimenez. I gave this 4.75 stars. I think this is one of the higher ones from this month. I really enjoy Abby Jimenez's writing. I discovered her last year, and this is the first book in the duology. The second book is Yours Truly, or Truly Yours, and I read Truly Yours last year. You don't necessarily need to read them in order, as I'm proof of, but very good. So this is small town romance, age gap, mental health, forbidden love, sort of, because they are a huge age gap. But big time Alexis falls for small town Daniel, a cutie that's 10 years younger. After trying to deny their connection, she falls hard and learns to enjoy small town life. So, and that's exactly what it is. That was a great summary I did. Okay, then last Tuesday, the 23rd, there was a series that came out. It's the Improbable Meet Cute series. It's 6 novellas from very famous authors. So I read 2 of those so far. The first one was The Exception to the Rule by Christina Lauren. This book followed 2 longtime friends that had been corresponding via pen pal back and forth, and then they end up deciding they're going to meet, and it's just like a coming of age story plus love. End up giving that 5 stars. Then I read The Worst Wingman Ever, also in the same Improbable Meet Cute series by Abby Jimenez. I ended up giving this book 4 stars. This book follows a nurse who is actually doing hospice for her grandmother in an apartment building, where she runs into a guy after some notes have been left on her car for Valentine's Day. And they kind of go back and forth in these notes because originally the guy who put the notes on her car, it was not meant for her car, but he was trying to help out his friend, and so he is the worst wingman ever, as the joke is, because he did not put the right note on the right car, and they kind of start running into each other, but they don't know what they are each other because they're only writing. It was cute, but a little bit heavier than I was looking for, and I just didn't find a lot of connection between the 2 main characters. Then I read The Neighbor Favor by Christina Forrest. I ended up giving this 3 stars. This book was just okay, which I gave it 3 stars. I recommend it, but it wasn't my style. First of all, it's a very slow burn. It follows 2 people. So a girl is a fan of a writer. She writes to him on his website. He responds back. They kind of go back and forth in correspondence. Lots of that this month as I talk about it. But he ends up saying he's not who she thinks he is, and they stop talking. So he's a writer who uses a fake name, and he poses that he's from London, and this book does really well, but he's not from London, he's from New York, and he actually lives very close to the main female character, and they end up living in the same building, that they don't know it's each other, but he finds out it's her, but she doesn't know it's him. And then the favor comes in because her sisters are always trying to fix her up. She's 28. They think she needs to be dating. There's an upcoming wedding, and she decides that if she finds her own date, will they get off her back? And so she asks the neighbor for a favor, and the neighbor is the guy that she has been talking to. She didn't know. It was just too slow. Like I said, the favor didn't come into play until like 34% into the book. It was just, I didn't need it. Then I made a comeback and I read Make a Scene by Mimi Grace. I gave this 5 stars. Now, I am so sorry if you've been following me because I originally said this book was on Kindle Unlimited. It is not on Kindle Unlimited. I actually saw it somewhere. I don't know where I saw it, but I ended up borrowing it from Libby. So that's why I was thinking it was free. But this book, 5 stars. Oh my goodness, I love it. So this book follows our main character who owns a bake shop, and new owners own a gym, move in next door. It's another fake dating trope, but the chemistry between the two characters was stellar. The writing, it was so nicely done. You just could glide over the words. And it was short. It was like 240 some pages, so it was like just enough. And the spicy scenes were top tier. They were not too graphic. They were lovely and excellent. So it's a series. And so I will be reading the second book in this series. And then the last book that I read this month was Babysitter's Club number 31, Dawn's Wicked Stepsister. And I'm giving this 4 stars because I love a good grime in books, especially when it's Babysitter's Club. And the writers know how to create this tension. So in this book, we have Dawn and Marianne moving in together. They decide they're going to originally share a room, and they quickly find that doesn't work. They exchange words. There's a huge plot of Dawn creating a huge lie to not have to stay with Marianne, and she never fesses up to it, which is a whole nother issue. But such a good book. And I really, really enjoyed it. I just finished that yesterday. So now I am taking a break for one day, and I will pick up reading again tomorrow on February 1st. Okay, I almost forgot a book. One other book I read this month was Witch Upon a Star by Angela M. Sanders. It's a cozy mystery, and it's in the Which Way Librarian mystery. And I'm giving this 4 stars. I think this is book 4 in a 5-part series. Book 5 comes out soon. And it's not much to say about it. I really liked it. I liked the writing of Angela Sanders. And I appreciated the storyline in general. I've been following the entire series, so I gave that 4 stars. But that is everything that I read in January. I was very surprised that I read that much because I really didn't feel it for a huge chunk. So that goes to show, like, if you're in a slump, it's okay. Lean into it, and then you'll get out of it soon enough. But I had a great time with the books that I read this month, and I feel great about them. So comment down below if you've read any of these books or something that you read this month that really stood out to you. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and we'll see you in the next one. Bye, guys.